Well, I've been kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired for my last job. Hot wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard. Beat my brother-in-law half to death. Lost $20 on his football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no way we'll ever change.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash Brent, Thursday morning, I'm pretty sure. What? Oh,
do the commander microphone over there.
It is Thursday morning. Let's
you buying
see.
this? I'm going to ask you.
Ricky King, Marvin Maker, Scott Tomko, podium this morning.
Scott Snow, Ryan Hoppin coming in with a green and purple ribbon.
Yeah.
Bobby Leister gets a turkey leg.
Well, he's got the Caldo hangover, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Greg Garcia, Judge Posey, Wendy Garcia, Micah Patton. Good morning, everybody.
See, Greg Garcia's gone for content, for quality over quantity.
Yeah.
He now types good morning, comma, dudes, period. It's just his way of saying, I'm not even competing for the podium anymore. I'm looking for accuracy in reporting. Remember when he started out with just M-O-R?
Yeah.
That's not going to cut it. The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deal and Feed. I'm going to call one out. We tell you all the time it's 42 degrees, feels like 18. No, it doesn't, right? It doesn't feel like 45 degrees out there this morning. 45 degrees in Victoria under mostly dark skies. Says it's going to be mostly sunny today with a high of 74.
I see sun starting to peek through the one crack in our window.
Did you think it was 45 this morning? 45 was kind of brisk.
It was chilly this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just tough or fat. I don't know. I've insulated.
Well, you're wearing a hoodie.
It's a Fetterman, but it's a light Fetterman. It's very light. Look, micro. It's performance fibers.
That's fishing. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's a performance fetty.
It's a fetty. I believe, is there a market if we created a Wade and Carter emblazoned fetty and put like Fetterman silhouette down on the bottom? Would you guys buy it? Would you like to own a fetty?
I think it needs a hole up in the shoulder or something that
right?
Clearly been worn for a while.
Carter Castaneda checking in. Good morning, my little brother.
His dad, Stephen. Joaquin Ramon, good morning.
My man, checking
Heather
in.
Stewart, Monty Howard, good morning. Mark Kurtz, David Glass, Lisa Poole, Sarah Elkins, Justin Glass, Sherry Jacobs, Tammy Keeling, Stephanie Connie, Scott Tomko. Stars versus Flames tonight in Dallas. Yes, sir.
I love it when Joaquin calls me coach. Love you, buddy. Have a great day at school. There's BJ Nelson. I'm trying to think of anything that BJ Nelson calls me. I'm trying to think of anything BJ Nelson calls me that I could say on the radio.
It's not appropriate.
What just came to mind? That scene from Breakfast Club. Lazy, no good for nothing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Patrick Welder, carnivore diet will keep you nice and warm through any winter. Or any weather. It actually, I've had people tell me that the carnivore diet sharpens their acuity and that they have more energy and yada, yada, yada. I will admit that I don't.
Dulls the teeth from eating all that meat.
Right, and it constipates you. Anyway, I don't feel I've become more cognizant.
There's our Wade and Carter bingo card checked off. We were trying to figure out if we could work constipated into the show, and we just did.
At some point, it's going to go into the toilet.
Literally and figuratively.
I don't feel the high. I'm more aware of the highs and lows you experience during the day with carbohydrate. If there's a reason. If you go to lunch and you eat the loaded baked potato, there's a reason that 2 hours later you crash and you're like, man, I need a nap.
Yeah.
And I just, and I don't have that anymore. I need a nap all the time. I'm always looking for a place. My dad used to tell my mom, it's just the man, the myth, the mouth. True story, Ms. Nelson. Thank you.
Not always in that order.
Not always in that order. But my dad used to be able to come home and like at lunch, and my mom would have him a sandwich ready, and my dad would eat a sandwich and go sit in his recliner and just sack out for 20 minutes. The only other person I knew that did that faithfully was Mr. Jim Hartman. And Daddy would just sack out for 20 minutes, and he'd wake up good to go, and he didn't need an alarm clock. He didn't need my mom to say, hey, Ben, it's time to go back to work. My dad would go to sleep and then wake up 20 minutes later. I lay down, I wake up 3 hours later.
Keisha Haas says, good morning. I'm a new carnivore. Eating more butter helps with the constipation.
Yeah, and it's counterintuitive. No, it's true. You cook everything you can in butter. But here we have a phone call. Let's see
Make it taste better.
Let's see who this is calling. It's probably somebody trying to collect a debt. Good morning. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. You there?
Whatever, you got Stephen and Carter here online with you.
What's up, Stephen Castagnetti? What's up, buddy? Hi, Carter.
Hi.
How are you, my friend?
Good.
Good. How's school going?
It's okay.
It's okay. Now, we got to ask you a tough question, Carter.
Okay.
Do you listen to us because you actually like us, or do you listen to us because your dad makes you? Both would be the right answer.
Because I like you.
Attaboy,
Even
my
better.
man.
Appreciate
There
that.
you
Thank
go.
you.
Hey, you guys go have a great day and be safe on the roads.
Okay.
Okay,
Talk to
bye.
you guys later. Have a
Bye,
good
All
Stephen.
right, Stephen. Thanks, Carter. Appreciate it.
That's awesome. Bring up a child in the way he should go, and when he's older, he won't depart from it. That's kind of a paraphrase, the new Carter Standard Bible.
Jared McCrugan, good morning. Torrin Bale says naps are underrated.
Torrin's got a beautiful place for a nap, too. He's got a big overhang at his ranch out there, and it's just beautiful.
I can't nap. I find if I do, it screws up my evening sleeping.
Right?
Yeah. So
There you go.
So DOGE turning its sights and setting its sights on Victoria, finding out that Social Security Administration, Crossroads Today, actually maybe scooped us.
Well,
$320,000 a year. The Social Security Administration has been paying to lease that building on the loop that they're in. I always thought they owned it.
I'm sorry. That's just the dumbest expense in the history of the world. $25,000 a month. Now, you know where this place is. If you're on the loop on the North Feeder Road, it's between Holy Family Church and PetSmart. It's on the right. It's that building that's, I don't know. If it's less than 10,000 square feet, 25 grand a month is a stupid rent. I could build a $5 million. I could build a $10 million building for that.
Yeah.
$300,000 a year. They've been in there 20 years. They've paid over $6 million rent, folks.
20 years ago, they could have built that building for $320,000
No doubt.
and probably
No
been
doubt.
leasing out space to somebody else because it could have been huge at that.
And this is the kind of stuff.
Now, listen to the spokesman for the Social Security Administration writing in a statement that Crossroads Today printed. So I'll give them all the credit here. We are working with GSA to review our leases and ensure they are used efficiently. Most of the leases we are not renewing are for small remote hearing sites that are co-located with other federal space. As the majority of our hearings are held virtually, we no longer need as many in-person hearings locations. So that's a product of COVID. We're 5 years beyond that. They've been blowing our money for 5 years, knowing they're in a space they don't need.
And guess what?
Based on that
It's not-
statement.
I'm not blaming the good folks that work at the Victoria office. This is all happening at a level way above them. They're not even probably writing the check. They don't even write a check from this office. But the idea that you would lease a $2 million building for $300,000 a year is just called stupid.
And nobody else would pay $300,000 a year to lease that building.
No way. One of our top issues we want to talk about.
And I don't blame the owner of the building who saw a cash cow and took advantage of it because it's just He's stupid
un-American,
government.
but good for him. President Trump yesterday, we did talk about this. It's on the front part of the show. President Trump yesterday granting a 1-month reprieve to the big three automakers and saying, hey, look, we're going to back off the tariffs on the automakers. Now, the reason this matters, and I researched this yesterday before it was announced, is that the automakers, it's not that we're not talking about importing cars, we're talking about importing parts. And maybe Canada makes something that goes in your...
Well, Canada makes quite a few cars that come
But that's not what this is talking about. This is talking about the parts that are coming in. It may involve some finished vehicles, but it's the parts that are coming in associated with, say, General Motors, Ford, and others. The estimated increase from the tariff was going to be 1.5% to 2% on a new vehicle.
And I think GM might have been dinged closer to 3%.
So let's look at it on paper. If you're looking at a $120,000 Cadillac Escalade, and the 3% would then make it, that's another $126,000 sticker price. It's not like it's adding 25% to the vehicle. But I told Ash before this even broke, it would be amazing if the automakers said, because look, we all know, I just gave you an example on an extremely high dollar vehicle. A $120,000 car goes to $123,000 or $4,000. I gave you a great example of an expensive vehicle. Every vehicle comes into the lot. They've got holdback. They've got this. They've got dealer incentives. There's more. It is like if you've ever bought a car, it's like, where's the P? Where am I getting the chorizo? Because you're getting the chorizo. You just don't know it. There's always $500 more they can take out of a car if they choose to do it. It's always there. So what I'm saying to you is the American automakers should have said, we stand with the president. And as a result, we will not be raising our sticker prices on these vehicles. If that sticker has an MSRP of $64,500, we're not going to raise it $2,000 to absorb that 3%. We're just going to suck it up. That would be the cheapest advertising they could ever do. It would be the most American thing they could ever do. It would be exactly the thing that made people say USA.
And because
American-made products.
And because consumers don't seem to understand these things.
Right, because the American public is stupid.
They would have flocked to them. Absolutely. First one out of the gate that would have said that probably would have seen sales increase by 10%.
No doubt about it. Cheapest advertisement ever. Very pro-American. And guess what? With the Donald, for better or worse, it would have gotten you favor later on. It would have gotten you favor later on.
Yeah. The exemption applies not only to those 3 Detroit-based auto manufacturers, of course, GM, Ford, Stellantis, but any cars from Canada or Mexico that comply with the USMCA trade deal, which I don't know what that would be. Hyundai maybe?
I don't know. So many cars, BMW makes cars over in Georgia. I mean, there's so many cars that are made here, and you'll see it on the sticker now, what percentage of the car actually comes from the U.S. But on the Social Security, that's the DOGE that I came for. That's the DOGE I came for. I don't know what Tammy Keeling's talking about. Tammy, nobody suggested that they close a regional Social Security office. That would be stupid. What we do, this is the regional Social Security office. What we're talking about, Tammy, listen slowly, $25,000 a month rent would have built them their own building 20 years ago. They paid over $6 million in rent. They could have owned that $300,000 building 20 times over. That's the point we're making. Join us. Join the program. I'm about to get out the TK speedometer.
And it'll make those people that need in-person assistance drive 80 to 120 miles. You know what? That would be better than sitting in the Social Security office all day like you do now to try to get the help.
Why can't you do it
At least you'd be, driving and probably being able to talk to somebody.
Well, this is a great example. Torn Bale's spot on. You've heard the left ranting and raving that Elon Musk is going after Social Security. If you're old, you're going to lose your benefits. They are and will say Social Security is being cut because they're cutting the waste and fraud. Benefits are not being cut. In fact, they're going to be increased. And Trump's talking about he's offered up bills that include no tax on Social Security. I don't believe that he's offered that up as a standalone bill. I think it's always been part of
tax
something.
cuts. Yeah. Imagine.
Do you want to do that? You want to given that the top 1% of wage earners in this country, the Torn Bales type guys, the top 1%, they already pay 48% of all U.S. taxes. Right?
Torn's going, there's another Torn Bales out there somewhere that I don't know.
You have a hard time getting people to understand. We argue and negotiate with rates. We pay bills with dollars. I'd rather have 10% of a billionaire than 100% of a millionaire. People are like, whoa, a millionaire, just give you 100. Well, that's fine. Do the math, people. Do the math. Give me the smaller percentage of the higher number. But at the end of the day, are you willing to cut taxes on the billionaires? I mean, I think I am. I am.
And Trump said it the other night, tax cuts for everybody. But what happened? What did the left do, right? They cherry picked the tax cuts for everybody and went straight to, he's going to give tax cuts to billionaires. Well, aren't billionaires everybody? Aren't millionaires lumped into everybody? The left loves to make analogies where everybody benefits. But then they'll cherry pick a segment of the population of something that everybody's benefiting from to try to make sure they don't benefit.
Right.
Well, we didn't vote for Trump. Everybody didn't vote for Trump.
We didn't vote for Elon. Yeah, you kind of did, because Trump said from day one, Elon Musk, my friend, good friend, we go way back. That's what he said. He did say that.
You know what? If we're spending bloated rent for CAD, that needs to be looked at. Not gonna lie, Tammy. I agree. If that's what they're doing,
somebody should have brought that to our attention long ago. I've got no problem taking that up with the county. I'll do it on the air.
we just did. Kinda.
Morning,
Melissa Hanson. Tammy Williams says they're cutting benefits to the dead people.
Of course, isn't there a part of you that kind of likes to see the CAD just get screwed, you know? Even though it's our tax dollars. That'd be the deal, right? Yeah, stand back or I'm going to kill it. I'll do it. Okay, well, go ahead. Torrin Bell says, I'm retired living off the land. If he did, he'd be a vegan. Every deer out there has like a little iridescent collar. They all have a name.
Yeah, they won't be able to touch
Torrin
Torrin.
Dancer and Prancer and Donner and Vixen. They're all out there.
They won't be able to touch Torrin's Social Security.
No.
Looks great for 67.
No, he looks so good for 67. He's got Melissa working. She's on roller skates over at Sonic. You see Melissa Bales? Sonic. She's just doing a little work. She'd get going downhill in those diamond earrings. She'd be like a luge. She'd be, and she's going into turn 3.
She wipes out. She starts a forest fire behind her. From
Torrin's like, don't scratch the Rolex. Unbelievable. It's tough. I'm telling you, it's tough.
Buddy Stavanoa, good morning. It is tough.
Tough.
Tell you what's not tough.
Tell me, because I know you're taking a break right now.
Yeah, I am.
What's
Going
not
to dollar floor store and saving
Wow.
money.
15% off. Did you tell me that this morning?
Yep. Tell them you listen to us and they'll give you 15% off.
That is crazy.
Tell all your friends that don't listen to us too to start listening to us, but they can claim the deal as well.
That's awesome. Anybody should go in there and say, hey, dollar floor store. Now, I'd love for you to say I heard it on Wade and Carter. But if you've been thinking about putting down new tile in that bathroom or, new laminate vinyl flooring, plank flooring in your living room, getting rid of that carpet, I don't want to hurt your feelings. That shag ain't coming back.
No.
Number one, it's nappy and matted. And number two, it's not ever going to be in style again. And you've cleaned it so many times that the residue from that machine you rent at Home Depot, it's just ruined the carpet. Everything sticks to it. Gross. Get rid of that allergy-laden rug and put down some laminate flooring from the dollar floor store. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Let Allen be your go-to tow-to. Best towing company on the planet.
Absolutely.
Period. Paravita Wellness. Get in and get healthy. Vita Cafe.
Going to open soon.
Commander, just give us one tidbit about the Vita Cafe.
Well, the Vita Cafe is going to be your new favorite weekend brunch spot. Once it opens, they're
How
going
about
to
that?
offer brunch on the weekends.
Is that
It's
like
gonna be awesome.
bring your own Bloody Mary and go in there and get like some kind of healthy wrap?
No, they're going to have everything from sweets to egg benedicts to pancakes to all kinds of great food.
Their pancakes are good.
See, that's not eggs Benedict. That's egg Benedict.
Well, because he gets multiple orders. of it.
right. Sure.
Yeah, you think one's enough?
Attaboy. Veracruz Restaurant yesterday was called a Wednesday. Today's a great time to get back in. Get back in and check it out. Get in there and dine in-house. They love serving you and your family. Get in there. USA Concrete Coating.
578 Homes, the number to call.
Sand it, seal it, stain it, paint it, whatever you need done, they'll take care of you. And of course, without fail to mention, Chestnut Furniture Company. Get in and see why you just always do better at Chestnut. Chestnut can love making your house a home for over 100 years. The Astros Minute brought to you by the First State Bank of Louise, the friendliest bank anywhere. Big enough to get it done, small enough to know you by name. I mean, we just give those things away, right?
Yeah.
We just give that away. Boom, just give it away. That is radio genius right there.
It is.
We just give it away.
I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't really watched any of the preseason games.
I have
How's Altuve looking in left field?
just lost.
Lost like he's in left field?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he's out in left field.
Yeah.
Altuve.
He's only batting $183. That's why I'm wondering
That's okay.
how this thing's
He'll
going.
settle down. He's out of his element. It's like a race car. It's right. It's like you keep thinking to yourself, well, gee, that Formula One car, I bet it would tear up NASCAR. No, it wouldn't.
No.
It really wouldn't. How about,
The open wheels would screw it up.
can you get me down and find this kid, Cam Smith? Has he
I don't
done
think he
anything?
played yesterday.
Okay, good. Can you bring him up? Can you identify one Cam Smith? This is a kid that came over. What did Paredes do then while you're there? Paredes played third. He went 1 for 2. He's
hitting
batting 300.
Slugging 700. That's
He's
pretty
good. This guy's good. I'm going to tell you something. If the Astros don't win the division this year, it will not be because of third base. At no point during this year are you going to say, man, if we only had Bregman. Now, you might say, boy, I sure do miss Kyle Tucker. Yeah. If the outfield's not doing great things, you may be missing Kyle Tucker. Cam Smith is batting .571. Now, he's only got 7 at-bats, but he's got 4 hits and 6 RBIs, and he's hit 2 home runs. The young man is a star. He's only like
22 years old.
22 years old. He grew up in Lake Worth, Florida.
Big kid.
He's 6'3", 224. Now, that's the kind of kid you want at third base. And if he
I wish he could play first base.
well, he might be able to but you don't need him because you've got
we
Christian
got
Walker.
I
who's a
forgot about
star.
that. Yeah, I forgot we had him over there. So, yeah.
Hide and watch Christian Walker. We're going to have a great time.
Yeah, I think everybody's writing off the Astros, and I think the reports of their death are a little premature.
Absolutely. I think they're going to be an exciting bunch to watch. Now, I have a question for you. You're a purist, and Ash, by the way, folks, is when it comes to sports and right and wrong and cheating and all, like I've never ever felt like Ash would do anything unethical on a golf course and all that. It's one of the reasons that I'm proud to be his friend. But is it not silly at this point that Roger Clemens isn't in the Hall of Fame? I mean, is it not when Roger Clemens, okay, you want to say he was on steroids, that's the big deal. He was throwing the ball to Barry Bonds, who was on steroids. I mean, of course, Barry Bonds isn't in the Hall either. Maybe not a great analogy.
Mark McGuire's not in the Hall either.
Okay. Is it maybe time to let those 1,500 home runs between really closer probably to 1,300 home runs between Sosa, McGuire, and Bonds? They defined the era they played in. Go ahead.
What if we just like let them stand in the corner of the Hall of Fame?
Right. Just
Like you can't
just
come
turn
fully
their bust
in.
around. You see the back of their head.
Yeah,
Well-
they just get like a little corner area. Like you're not really here, but kind of.
Well, now Pete Rose is dead, right? And now all of a sudden, all the baseball writers that couldn't stand Pete Rose,
They wanna
probably
let him
kept
in now.
Now they want him in the Hall.
Hey,
They
but you
kept
know
him
why
out.
they didn't want him in? They didn't want him in not because it tainted the Hall. They didn't want him in because he might profit from being in the Hall of Fame. Roger Clemens probably gets, honest, 15, 20 grand. He wouldn't leave the house to come talk to your meeting for less than 15 or 20 grand. When he shows up in his gold, is it gold? Baseball Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Hall of Fame jacket.
I know
That's
the
NFL's
yeah.
gold. When he shows up in his Hall of
I
Fame
don't know where they
jacket,
get a jacket, do they? They get a bust.
when he shows up with his Hall of Fame boob job, Roger Clemens is going to get 50 grand if he's a Hall of Famer. Think about that. I mean, think about that. So they're
I think they
upset
were
with
more
him,
worried about Pete Rose putting together an autograph session at the entrance to the Hall of Fame.
no doubt. But Roger Clemens has 2 more Cy Youngs than anybody. He won 300 and pick a number, 64 games. It's ridiculous.
Brett Anderson, how about it being honorable mention Hall of Fame for those guys?
Right. I like that, Brent. You could be honorable mention Hall of Fame.
No.
There
Not
you
everybody
go.
gets a trophy. Ricky King says Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens saved baseball, even though they were on steroids. I'm gonna take it.
I agree.
I'm gonna take. Actually, I think, to be honest, I think Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa saved,
I agree.
saved
That
baseball
home run
summer.
race,
Yep.
that summer race, what always offended me, and when I first knew the media, really as a younger man, I said the media can't be trusted. I read articles where say Sports Illustrated. Sports Illustrated was saying how the summer of love and McGuire and Sosa saved baseball. And just 2 years later, the scandal, the tragedy, yada, yada, yada. The same writers were putting those guys down. And the caveat is we all knew they were on steroids during the summer of love. That's the point. We all knew it. Anybody young, any athlete, anybody my age back then was like, those guys are on vitamin Q, man. Those guys are juicing. McGuire walked over there with those big old neck zits and those traps that were like
At 35 years of age, you
And
look
he-
like a pimply-faced teenager.
to be built like that, you'd have to have superior genetics, which he had, but you'd have to be in the gym 12 hours a day. The guy was on an airplane, living in a hotel, playing 162 games, and built like Schwarzenegger. Jose Canseco had like a twitch from all the drugs he was on. It was like having a horse in a paddock.
A horse could out-count Jose Canseco.
Unbelievable. H.R. Mallory says, Brent Carter, honorable mention, Baseball Hall of Fame, First State Bank of Louise Astros update. Thank you. I hope that the First State Bank of Louise feels that way. We talk to Patricia Nagel quite often, and we visit like Jennifer Rayburn. I'll admit, man, we all loved Cal Ripken Jr. during that time. He was the
Those
epitome.
eyes.
He was the epitome of a ball player. They said that they asked him, he was too tall to play shortstop. Back then, you had the Ozzie Smiths and the guys. Gary Templeton was a little bigger, but the stars of the era were smaller guys.
Ozzie Smiths.
And Ripken said, Ripken just said, I anticipate well. He was one of the first guys to say, this guy usually hits it to the left side, and he would back up a little and shade towards third.
Yeah, he knew hitters' tendencies.
He outthought a lot of people.
And his pitchers. Yeah, he was very much ahead of the game.
Yeah. Tammy Keeling, BJ Nelson and Tammy Keeling been having we love providing the forum. Love you guys visiting. BJ says, I envision multiple government entities sharing a building they own. Thanks for reminding me.
Some talk about a CAD ISD building.
I don't know. What we probably need, I tell you what, VISD owns a building over there that they don't need. There's no way they come close to filling up that Hager building. That's what it was, the Hager Slack building. It's VISD's headquarters.
Oh,
Over there on Profit Drive. That's an interesting name for the street.
Well, with Region 3 out there, don't they have a bunch of
Yes.
space in the back of the old
Region
Victoria
3
High?
does their own deal, you know. I mean, they're like a one-off getting your tax dollars. They're not directly I think they probably get some money from the state. I don't know that. I don't really care. But I know they get some money from the districts for the services they provide, and the districts just write checks like it's no big deal. And I wonder how much of what they provide is really essential. I mean, my
State
mother
probably telling them it's essential, so they got to do it, right?
My mother spent years teaching superintendents the Stephen Covey 7 habits of successful people, and at the end of the day, it apparently didn't stick. So who cares? Yeah.
Oh, let's see what. Since we're on sports, FanDuel expecting to triple its U.S. profits in 2025 to $1.4 billion, up from $507 million last year. This is just the latest. And maybe because it's earnings season, they're trying to give the stock markets a boost after they've been tanking and gave back everything that they've gained since election day in the last 2 days. But they're just the latest with such a positive, forward-looking statement. And, you know, Ohtani's agent gets busted for gambling. You're hearing of college students in the NCAA get busted for gambling. I don't do any of this stuff. I don't make the parlays and stuff, but
Nah, I don't either. I gamble every day just being in business. Trying to dodge the DOGE guy at my office.
But and you know, it's legal, it's your money, but man, the money going into this stuff is just crazy. And there's been a lot of comers and goers, and the market's sort of feathering itself out. I mean, as to who, you know, FanDuel's a big one, but there's been a lot of them that kind of come and gone. DraftKings.
Yeah.
They all give you a bunch of free money when you put your first bet in.
Well, that's because they know you're going to be hooked, you know, and it's fun to gamble on somebody else's money. You hear people say that all the time. I'm playing on the house's money. So I got a question for you.
Didn't start on the house's money, though.
I got a question for you.
Larry Schilling, good morning, neighbor.
You got time?
Yeah.
All right. So when you start looking at the county owns the Patty Dodson building, which at one time was a Kroger, I think. So they own that, and they lease space to the CAD, which at the time, I'm sure the CAD needed more space than wherever they were. And hey, we'll make you a deal. You're paying $1 a foot. You can pay us 75 cents a foot, whatever the numbers were. At the end of the day, I realized that the county has needs, and the county, so they bought the building because it was a good deal for the county.
Yeah.
Isn't it all our tax money? I mean, why is the CAD taking money as part of their budget, money that they collect from us, and then paying it to the county for rent in a building that the county already identified was a great deal when they bought it with our tax dollars? And I'm not blaming current leadership. I'm not blaming anybody. I don't have a problem. Like I've been a proponent of, why didn't the county go by Pioneer? Why let the questionably valuable school support group buy the building when all you had to do is go buy it? Like we said, I was told that Pioneer came back to them and practically, figuratively gave it to them. And I guarantee you they paid less for it than what it cost to build to lay the concrete out there.
Oh, absolutely.
The concrete alone was valuable. And I've had people tell me, well, hi, Jeff Finley, it's hard to get water out there. Pioneer did it and ran an oil company out there. I'm just saying, you think they had a well out back? Sucker rods?
Might have.
You go out back and do the pump. Remember the old pump? Take the bucket. There were women walking with buckets on their heads.
Sloshing water everywhere.
Absolutely. But I wonder why, and I get it. Well, we can't just give that space. We can't just give that, you know. Why? Well, can't we have like a county DOGE? It would be so trendy. I guarantee you, put me in charge of that. I could cut until it hurt and then add back in a matter of time. in a short matter of time. Anybody doubt me? I could walk in and go, that doesn't make any sense. Why are you paying him? You're taking $10 from me to pay him $8.
Does the city, I mean, it's just a question because I don't know. I haven't looked. But does the city of Victoria pay to release City Hall?
See, I don't
that's
think
the same
so,
sort of
'cause they
thing,
own
right?
it, right?
Yeah.
They own it. I don't think so.
But the county owns Patty Dodson.
Yeah.
Although the CAD is.
But the CAD's not part of the county,
but-
right?
No, I guess not.
So the CAD's just kind of a separate entity because you can't hate anybody that much without them being on their own. You got to put, nobody wants to be associated with them. So they put them on an island. But then all of them are on the board of the CAD. They all get together and put the CAD out there. The lepers are over there, but then they're on the board for the leper colony.
And then we sent those bad people to Australia. The CAD's getting to be like ostracized that way.
It sure is.
Although I think our CAD may be a little bit better.
I think they're better than most. I do. I hear horror stories of people.
They're better than they used to be. They at least listen to you. I mean, I remember taking my first property tax fight to them and basically got shut down before anything.
Well, it helped if you just spoke English.
Well, that's true. Well, I did, but everything I wrote had a U in it, an extra U, because I spelled it in the
You were
Queen's
like
English and they
Zelensky.
didn't understand it.
You were like Zelensky.
Melissa Hans asked about homeschooling and athletics. Yes, the Victoria Cobras is a homeschooling athletic entity. I don't know what sports they all have, but I think they have a Facebook page or even a website, so you can check that out. But and there's another one that's popped up too. The Gators, maybe?
I don't know.
They all offer.
There's sports.
homeschooling,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's basketball.
They may not have golf, but they might. I don't know. I could probably find a coach for your daughter if they didn't. Oh, what else is going on? I think Iowa has set up their own state DOGE. They're obviously not going to hire a bunch of 20-somethings to run algorithms and computer programs to find the waste. They'll probably hire people to find the waste.
There you go.
So countries saying that they're going to fight back against Donald Trump's tariffs. China saying that they're ready for the fight and ready to fight any type of war. See, this is the kind of propaganda and hyperbole that China loves to use, that the left uses. They'll equate a trade war to any type of war.
Right.
We're ready to fight a trade war or any other type of war with the U.S.
I mean, why would you say that?
Because that's what China does. It makes them sound tough. They can
Have you
put that
seen
in
the
there.
Chinese? Do you realize that the
They can
first
put that
time
all
you
in
kill
there.
10 of them, the rest are going to go, we surrender. Please take me to Houston.
No, they're brainwashed. They're like the Russians.
Well, then they can die quickly. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not afraid of China. I'm not. I'm 62 years old. I ain't going. Oh no, I think we would just miss
China's
it.
more of a threat. China's more of a threat than Russia.
No doubt. No, because at least they don't have money, but they've got
I'm not-
slave
yeah.
labor.
You know,
I wonder if a missile made by slave labor is a reliable weapon.
I'm not sure. Well, yeah, it probably would be, because if you don't make it right, they'll kill you.
True story.
I mean, do you value living, or do you want in slavery, or do you want to die? Which in that case? Probably. I mean, you know, there's enough stories of people jumping off buildings of Chinese-owned factories every month, so they probably, a bunch of them don't want to live in
Well,
that.
there's more slaves in the world now than there's ever been at any time, and it just makes you wonder what the reparation argument's going to be like in 20 years.
Well, is China going to pay for all the slaves that they're enslaving in Africa for their Belt and Road Initiative? No, not at all.
Absolutely.
No.
I'm not going to put you on the spot to pick a date, but we need to for Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. We know it can't be the 20th, because
Can't be
on the
the
20th,
20th,
you're
yeah.
going to want to join us. You're going to want to join us at the Victoria 100 Club banquet. It's going to be a great time.
Do we do a Tuesday like the 25th? 27th of Thursday is tough. I can't make that one.
Okay. Well, then
I
find
don't
one
know,
that works.
25th or 26th.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out tomorrow.
I'll have to get with
I'll
Lisa,
look today.
Get with Lisa Poole and find out. Did you check the menu? Check the menu for the chopping block. Folks, here at the offices at 205, you're welcome to come down and see this space. We're thinking about putting together a deal here pretty quick where you can come and just
Peruse it.
But if you're out and about in the mornings, you're always welcome to stick your head in here. Just tell us who you are, what you do. Come on by and
We
say
might
hi.
laugh it off.
Yeah, we might not let you come on the air, but we'd love for you to. Brand us, Commander Cody, doing all kinds of great things for great people. Reasonable help, quick help. See, he can't really bill you by the hour because he can take your computer apart and put it back together in 15 minutes. So if you'll just give him a call, he'll help you, and he's always giving a special love to the Wade and Carter listener. Atzenhofer and Atzenhofer.com saw a new commercial last night. They were talking about rainbows over Chevrolets. Tommy Taylor was on TV looking good. We hope that you'll go by and let the Atzenhofer family of dealerships help you with your next vehicle purchase. They service all makes and models, tires, windshields, wipers, the little things, inspections, paint and body shop. Get by and see Victoria's dealership. And then White Trash Services and White Trash Site Services. Great folks, great, reliable service. If you live in the counties and you need trash picked up, you can count on them. Ashes Day was Wednesday. They were always there.
Yep.
Plan on it. White Trash Services, 550-1826.
Chopping Block still has their $12 a pound New York strip sale going on. They've also got some great fajita flat pinwheels, stuff with looks like cream cheese,
Chives and stuff.
yeah,
Oh, it looks good.
looks really good. And then they've got a Terrace Major stuff with Parmesan cheese and broccoli,
What is a Terrace Major?
Just
That
a
sounds
cut
like
of
the
meat.
name of a mussel.
kind of a
Right.
constellation.
I'm taking
to
your
me.
latissimus dorsi. We're going to season that. Chicken fry it. Junior
looks like-
Sample says he'll check his schedule.
Can't
Let us
wait.
know what days don't work for you, Junior, and we'll schedule accordingly. Palace will thank us.
Next Thursday the 13th. There was something we couldn't do it that day.
Thursday the 13th. That's worse than Friday the
I know.
13th. We can't do that. It's a
There
day
was a
early.
reason we couldn't do it that day.
How about that? BJ Nelson says dumpsters are flying out the door. Call to get one
It's
for your
been
home.
so windy.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a great deal, though. It's reasonable. They'll drop it off on a Friday, pick it up on a Monday or Tuesday, and you can fill it full of junk.
So what do you make of the measles outbreak? There was a lot of speculation because they weren't too forthcoming with where exactly in West Texas this was happening and
Right.
who it was, and there was a lot of speculation that it was obviously unvaccinated people, but illegals.
Right.
Turns out it's out of a town in Seminole, but seems to be centered around a Mennonite community there.
Gee, go get vaccinated, people. I don't know why a measles outbreak is all of a sudden like it's like a line in the sand, right? The anti-vaxxers. I personally don't know anybody that doesn't want a measles vaccine or a polio vaccine. My daughter has a newborn, and I think they're being very careful. But I know for a fact that she's already taken little Kennedy Claire in and had some shots. And I mean, I think, you have to wonder, you do have to wonder if there's more cancer among people my age because of some of the stuff we were vaccinated with. But I mean, I know that I didn't get the measles.
I think it's what we're breathing in the air living
Yes,
in
sir.
Victoria County more than anything else.
I didn't get the measles, the mumps, or polio.
I had the measles in high school.
Did you? Explains a lot.
Yeah.
Explains a lot. Yeah, I've always felt like, and I could be wrong, I haven't looked at the statistics, but I've always felt like Victoria County had a higher propensity or a higher occurrence rate of certain cancers than the average. And it's probably, I have a feeling you don't want to know what used to be expelled into the air. Just bleed that off. Well, by the time it dissipated enough to cover Victoria County, that was the blessing, right? I was raised here, then I got to be gone for 30 years. And then I came back and instantly knew my way around everywhere because, nothing
Nothing
had
wrong.
changed.
Yeah.
Nothing had changed. Wendy's had become a pawn shop, but there's a new one.
So the AP reporting on this, and listen to this. The only time the AP ever wants to talk to anybody in the church is when there's a measles outbreak.
or a shooting.
Yeah. And the senior pastor there is quoted as saying that the little girl in their congregation who was ill is doing fine and played through her quarantine. Heard that at least 2 Mennonite schools shut down to disinfect. But what hasn't he heard? Any direct outreach from public health officials on what to do as the number of those sick with measles has grown to 159 and a school-aged child has died.
Right. A school-aged child has died. A school-aged child has died. Okay. I was told
Tragic.
that by the time you see all the little bumps, that's later in the process.
That's when they know you have measles.
Right, but before that, you could have sores in your mouth or what did the
Says he wouldn't want to weigh in on whether members of the church should vaccinate.
Right, he's not going to make a political statement. I can respect that.
With the measles situation, I can honestly tell you we haven't taken any steps as a church. We did leave it up to the mothers.
Of course, it's the right thing.
Measles was considered eliminated in 2000.
I think that is the interesting thing. As measles, a preventable disease, the U.S. considered eliminated in 2000. Because if nobody's getting it, then it's not spreading. And at that point, aren't there vaccines, Ash, that we've quit giving to kids or to people in general because the disease has been eradicated?
I don't think we've stopped. Smallpox, maybe.
Okay.
We don't give the smallpox vaccine anymore, I don't think. I don't know. It's been so long since I've had kids, I don't know.
The pastor did say, do I trust all the vaccines? No. And I get from Kennedy, which I assume is the congressman.
Yeah, Robert Kennedy. No,
Robert Kennedy. He doesn't trust all the vaccines either. And he is very well educated in that, and I am not. Yeah, to say I trust all of them, it's a personal decision for families.
But
is Seminole near the Lubbock area?
It's West Texas.
It's just
I
West
guess.
Texas.
Yeah, I don't know. But what's interesting.
Yes, Timmy, it could also be all the unvaccinated walking across the border, no doubt.
Maybe they
Murder
worked
and
in the
disease.
area. Maybe they're in the schools. I don't know. But yeah. Do I trust all vaccines? I don't remember getting all the shots that kids get today.
Well, you
That's
live
for
in Canada.
sure.
It was free health care, but it wasn't.
Well, the
complete
winters got
healthcare.
so cold, most diseases were frozen out of existence by November anyway.
Right. Two things. Monty Howard says measles. Said the COVID and
Mpox scares.
they flopped, so another scare was needed. Measles was so familiar, not measles. I think I had mumps once as a child too. And I remember them saying as it hurt, my jaws were swollen, that
My brother had the mumps.
mumps, they're like, well, be glad you got it now because it really sucks when you're an adult. I'm like,
Good thing that MMR vaccine works so well to keep me from getting the measles and you from getting the mumps.
right, no kidding. Yeah, no kidding. And Junior pointed out accurately, Junior's been around the world, no kidding. I'm not being silly. He says it was eradicated in the USA, but not in the world.
Yeah.
Would it be small, say something stupid, I'm certain. See, I told you it was something stupid. B Small says he got his kennel cough vaccine yesterday.
Jared McCrugan says we were young.
Is that when they neutered you?
Yeah.
It's just a little stitch. Can you see B Small with one of those little
Cones on his head, the cone of
cones on
shame.
So he can't.
Well,
lick
they've
himself?
got some now that are, they're softer. You blow them up like a pool.
It looked like a
Float.
travel pillow on an airplane.
Or
kind of.
that too.
The
Yeah.
cone of shame. That's not. B Small really just went in to get his nails clipped in a quick bath. Kristen accepting of the dog that is B Small.
Jared says when we were young, we had a total of like 14 vaccinations. Now there's over 60. How do we survive? I don't know. Herd immunity, I guess, was part of it.
Wow. Scott Tonko says got chicken pox at 29. Not a good time. That's a rough time to be at Cody's out for a little dance on a Saturday night with the chicken pox. No, don't worry about that.
Scott's probably got.
Looks like that guy in.
So if you get chickenpox at 29, does that make you even more susceptible to shingles?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something about Mary. Remember the guy that just his face and skin just kept deteriorating for the whole movie? Scott Tomko wearing the scars.
Monty Howard says modern vaccines since the 80s have not been through the full testing.
B. Small says they need a Democrat vaccine. We've got one. It's called Vote. Just vote. Do you realize it's still, even today, like...
Go back and watch the reaction on Tuesday night, and you'll see exactly that. That'll be all the Democrat vaccine you need. Jasmine Crockett after that.
What a ghetto broad. Sorry.
Just
she's
an idiot.
Trashy.
Yeah.
I used to think, what a backwards country when I would watch these other parliaments and people would get up and disrupt the speech and then walk out and yada, yada, yada. Attention whores. It always bothered me. And that's what we've become now. That's where the U.S. is now.
Well, because they're all worried about going viral and being on TikTok.
That's right, because they all have higher aspirations. But that Jasmine Crockett routinely
dropping F-bombs after
that's
the show
exactly
and
what I was
everything.
going to say, Ash. Routinely.
Well, but the president doesn't act presidential. Well, if that's the case, these people aren't acting congressional.
And I'm really getting tired of the inaccuracy of, she's like, I don't care. I'm going to support my people. We built this MFer. Oh, okay. All right, you did. It's just dumb. The whole thing is dumb. And when you see through the politics, like I said, when you spend half your day, instead of listening to, 80s country, if you just listen to any news source, I listen to CNN and go, guy's an idiot. I can't believe what he just said.
Yeah. Nicole Wallace the other day on MSNBC, and Pete McNally's probably listening and, because he loves that station, but her comments.
Man, I miss Joy Reid.
She started off all right about talking about DJ Daniel, and then, well, I sure hope he never has to face a January 6th type insurrection and then kill himself in the aftermath. And come on.
Are you buying? So it made me wonder. It honestly did make me wonder.
Well, they're still pushing the narrative that a cop died that day.
No,
killed
cop
by the
died
insurrection.
there. That's a lie. That whole thing's a lie.
Right?
He had a stroke. But here's the deal. Is there any, so you're actually kind of a rent-a-cop. You're on the Capitol Police. I mean, in general, you're ushering people, you're watching the metal detector and you're making sure that people, you're not, this is not SWAT.
You're DC's version of the TSA.
There you go. That's a great analogy. So here's my question. Is there anything about what we saw over and over? I agree. There were trespassers out front and they were pushing on barricades. There were a couple of dozen really bad ne'er-do-wells that are in every group. They're at Minute Maid Park. They're at Dyken Field. Same guy that streaks across the field. Doesn't make everybody a streaker. We don't arrest everybody there. Why
are the streakers never attractive?
No, because, yeah. Why, Ash, if you were a Capitol Police officer, is there anything about that trespassing situation that would make you commit suicide? Is there anything about that situation that could even remotely give you PTSD? Do you think that a Capitol policeman said to himself, it's an attack on democracy, I can't go on? That is the most ridiculous garbage ever, which makes me wonder if the FBI killed those guys. And I'm being sincere. They knew too much. They knew who was let in. They knew who was led around. I'm sincere. Is there a chance that they knew too much and got killed? You're laughing at something B. Small said.
This Capitol Police are hosting morning shows.
Yeah, but I don't have PTSD over it. I mean, they're saying that
our
five of these
listeners
guys
have it every day.
5 of these people committed suicide. You're believing that? 5 of them. What were they doing? Was it a DEI deal? They were hiring all the mentally insane people they could find and put them in a uniform?
Now, I'm guessing some of them probably were on the inside of what actually was going down that day, and they don't want that to get out.
I believe that. Do you agree? I think there's a chance. Because the Democrats set the whole thing up. There's no getting around that. The video, the timing, the memos have been released. Donald Trump said, hey, you may want to increase National Guard presence. There's going to be some pissed off people up here. You need to do something. Nancy Pelosi said no. Why? Nancy Pelosi wanted that. They wanted to exploit that some loony right-wingers went crazy. I've always been for arrest those people. Lock them up. They're trespassers.
Who was the idiot out in the Weinstein? Nancy Pelosi walking with her cane just brought up to me when I saw that video of her on the other night shuffling in. She's trying to play the victim because I think DOGE is going to find something. And I'm going to get to what DOGE has found with John Podesta.
She thinks that guy that hit her husband with the hammer might have hit her too.
But I think she's worried that DOGE is going to find something. They're going to come after her and charge her with something. So if she plays the victim that she's just a feeble old lady now, she won't have to go to prison. Remember when Weinstein tried that when he first went into court? He had the walker and the neck brace.
Yeah, Ted Kennedy started that. It's always a Democrat.
You know, he's going to die in a few months. You can't send him to jail. He's been in jail for how many years and he's still not dead.
I can remember B. Small just said chickenpox parties. He goes, I remember them.
Yeah.
His parents used to say, let's just get it out of the way. I can remember a kid on my block.
Most kids' first sleepovers were chickenpox parties.
Yeah, Billy is sick. Go stay with Billy. I can remember my parents saying, should we send him down the street? I mean, it's okay. And I'm like, whoa. You're lobbying with my health here. And the thing was, if it hadn't been for a small amount of Little League prowess, I would have been sent. But it was Little League season, and they didn't want me to get sick because I had to play.
Well, that's what they told you. They just didn't want you on the field because you were a liability at that time.
Well, back then I used to throw like 300 pitches a week, pitch 2 complete games a week. Tomko knows. He did it.
The New York Post reporting that the Biden administration funneled at least $20 billion into environmental groups, most of which had only recently been founded when the money started flowing their way. Former VP Kamala Harris handed over a check for nearly $7 billion to a Bethesda, Maryland-based group, Climate United Fund, which doesn't appear in the IRS's charities database and has no federal filings, according to the New York Post. They've also found that John Podesta, former Clinton advisor.
Go back. Let's read that one more time. In one case, former VP Kamala Harris handed over a check for nearly $7 billion to Bethesda, Maryland-based group Climate United Fund, which does not appear in the IRS charities database and has no federal filings. $7 billion, Ash. You tell me that's not funneled back to her campaign or funneled back to Joe?
Or funneled back to some LLC formed in Delaware or the Virgin Islands that she doesn't have to report it up. Yeah.
EPA advisor Brent Efron was caught on video saying the EPA, the regulatory agency, had rushed out its $20 billion in climate funding. Get the money out as fast as possible before the Trump administration, come in.
That's exactly it.
It's like we're on the Titanic and we're throwing gold bars off the edge. He said in a video posted by Project Veritas. These are your tax dollars, people. This is the left doing what the left does. Even if you don't like Trump, even if you don't agree with the way Republicans feel about pro-life or pro-gun or pro-choice or whatever, if you don't like it, that's fine. You should still be outraged that the Democrats just take your money and just throw it out the window.
EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin said the director of the Greenhouse Reduction Fund left an NGO to come over the Biden administration, becomes the director of the Greenhouse Reduction Fund, and then gave their former employer $5 billion.
It's not like $5 million. This is not even $500 million. It's 25 times it. It's 10 times that amount. Yeah. $5 billion.
Zeldin says a CEO who applied for a $20 million grant sat on the Biden White House Environmental Justice Council and had received $3 million over the prior 3 years.
The EPA had uncovered that $2 billion was set aside for a climate change group, Power Forward Communities, which is associated with Democrat Stacey Abrams. Even though the organization only reported $100 in revenue.
It's from the New York Post. Remember when they were just a rag and and you couldn't trust them?
They're
one of
leading
the
way
they're one of
now.
the few pulling this out there now.
Yeah. B Small says, I would love to see a highlight reel, albeit brief, of Carter on the diamond as a youth. He says, I'm running. Junior Simple says, running the wrong way. B Small says, while his leg brace. Run, Carter, run. Scott Tomko, you better come to my attention or I'll buzz your tower. Better come to my defense.
Kelly Langer says James O'Keefe has done an amazing job documenting all the fraud.
Wasn't he in a show that we used to watch? That was Danny O'Keefe.
Yeah. Wrong one.
Wait, was the guy that played Danny in Caddyshack, was his name O'Keefe? Teddy, are you my pal? How'd you like to mow my lawn? I love it. We're christening my new sloop on Saturday. Why don't you come on down to the yacht club? The guy's like never been to a yacht club in his life, and he shows up in the same outfit as the judge.
Michael O'Keefe played Danny Noonan in
That's right.
Caddyshack.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're waiting. Great movie. One of the great movies of all time, Caddyshack. Deep thinking man's movie. Folks, we love you guys. It's top of the hour. Unbelievable. Have a great day.
Bye, folks.
Kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town.